Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the channel, Shelly's Millions. If you're new here, we go live every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. to discuss finance, budget, money, credit cards, and we largely talk about topics that you guys ask for in the chat. So if there's something that you want to know or that you want to ask, just pop your question in the chat and I'll pop it up on screen so that everybody can see what I'm answering, and we'll go from there. Today, I thought we would talk about the American Worker Rebate Act and its likelihood. I think most of you have probably heard by now, but this is designed to kind of replace the Trump Tariff Stimulus Checks or rebates that President Trump was floating. So he was floating that idea when a reporter asked him, which is a far cry from like, yes, we're actually going to do it. But now there is a different piece of legislation, and it includes a dollar amount and it includes the phase out amounts and all of that. But of course, it's just a proposal and it hasn't actually passed yet. So something that I like to remind everyone. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Richard. Great to see everyone in here today. So something that I like to remind everybody is it's not over till it's over, right? There's always going to be a lot of back and forth, even if it passes. And I kind of view it like this. And it's so funny that this guy's last name is Hawley. And some of you guys, Josh Hawley, he's a U.S. Senator for Missouri. But weren't the last tariff acts the Hawley, it was like the no, it was just the Hawley Act of the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act of 1930. So it's just so interesting that the names are similar. So it was signed into law, and that raised tariffs. And you guys told me to look into that the last time. So that's the Smoot, Smoot, Hawley, Hawley, Tariff Act of 1930 was last time we really raised tariffs that were impactful, right? I mean, like we've done it off and on, but that was like a big act that you guys were like, Shelly, you have to research that. Also, I'm so sorry, guys. My leg wants to Charlie horse. It's been doing that since like 7 a.m. trying, but it hasn't actually done it. I'm scrunching my toes and all that stuff that they tell you to do. Put pain rub on it. Anyway, I digress. So, with this bill proposal, right? You can propose a bill at any time, really, right? So I feel like, oh, Alex, I love that your Yaris is getting a car wash. I need to get a car wash. So you're going to visit your boyfriend. You're going to go get Sunday brunch. Well, have an amazing time. Where are you getting brunch from? Yeah, I love to know all the good spots. Also, totally unrelated, I'm going to Ireland October 3rd, and I don't really have anything planned. I'll be in Dublin, so if anybody has suggestions, leave those in the comments as well. Okay, so you can submit a bill whenever. Doesn't mean it's going to pass. And let's say, this is kind of how I'm seeing this right now, right? Because most news sources seem to say that it's not actually going to happen, even though there's some numbers. P.S. That number would be $600. There would be an income threshold cutoff for individuals, and then up to $2,400 for families if it passed. And we'll pull it up and we'll look at it together in just a second. But my little rant first. Let's say that you've got a coworker that is up for a job promotion. Okay, we'll eat at the pubs. I will do that. We're definitely going to do that. Okay, so let's say that you have a coworker that is up for a job promotion, and all of a sudden, I think you guys know where this is going. All of a sudden, they're working a lot harder. They're extra nice to the boss when they come in. They're they call it brown nosing, because your nose is so up your boss's behind that you've got doo-doo on there, right? That's the saying. So when you want a promotion, you're more likely to do those things, right? You're more likely to be extra on it, right? So I sort of feel like this politician is just submitting it because he knows that people want it, right? And I mean, it's okay to know that it is okay to know that people want something, right? I know that my audience is hopeful that there would be like a tariff stimulus check or a rebate or something, right? If it's the American Worker Rebate Act, we'd be happy for that. We would. But it is a completely different subject. Like, it's I hope it doesn't get people's hopes up too much where they start counting on it and start spending it before it's gone. Because $600 can mean a car repair that you've been putting off. It can mean paying off a credit card that you've been using to put groceries on so that you're not like eating up your payment with new interest. Like $600, it's not nothing, right? It could help a lot of people depending on how you stretch it. It can be really good. P.S. Richard says, I punched a time clock for 43 years and never received a promotion. I was never popular. I feel like it's the road I'm going on. No, I know they need me, but sometimes, boy, I got home from work last night at 3:30 a.m. The movies are doing great right now, by the way, Debbie. On my regular job as I manage a movie theater, so Debbie always likes to ask me about that. Movies are doing really well right now, but it means we're there really like cleaning the auditoriums and restocking and all that fun stuff. Let me think. What else? Yeah. So I feel like this politician is kind of just putting it out there for likes, right? That's my personal opinion. But let's see what um the actual article says, right? And maybe he's being genuine, right? Maybe he is. But I have a healthy dose of skepticism about the intentions of this, right? Um and then I mean, I guess it's good news headlines. It's good, back and forth. It's good, good versus evil, Democrat versus Republican. Oh, well, we tried. I'm curious also if that guy's what political party he is. I'm sure I can find that out. Okay, so we're gonna share the screen while we look that up. Okay. This is the Holly. We'll look at Josh Hawley. This is interesting. He's very young. Oh, he's 45. Well, he looks very young. Congratulations to you, sir. And he is a Republican. So that is interesting. It would be interesting no matter what the thing is. I would say that typically you tend to see more Democrats asking for this kind of payment to American citizens. Okay. So that's why. And he was born, it looks like, in Arkansas. He's got a spouse. Okay, he's a smart guy. All right, let's see here. Oh, no. Okay. This is a Newsweek Holly and AI. Oof. Oh, no. Josh Hawley. We're going to have to American Workers Act. Okay. All right. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. If you're enjoying this live, please remember to like the video. Alex says, did you hear about this with Medicaid and the 80-hour work requirement being met, or 80 hours multiplied by the federal minimum wage? Basically make $580 a month and good to go. Easy for California. It should be easy for California. And I also think that volunteering counts. So if you work, and it's going to be about 3 shifts, right? So either because 2 shifts is only gonna get you 16 hours, it's not gonna get you the full 20, even if you're working a full 8 hours, and then a lot of jobs that hire for part-time don't even do, like, the full 8-hour shift. I did hear about that requirement, but volunteering will also count. So, maybe in school is gonna count. So, there are some things that count. So, maybe somebody works 2 days a week while they're in school. Maybe somebody volunteers at like the Humane Society for Animals or at the library or something like that. You can volunteer for a couple of shifts and then also take a class. So hopefully people are able to make it. And just I think most of the people in the chat know, but my close friend, he's going to be impacted by this. So he cares for his mom, but not officially, right? Like not on paper. He lives in California still. His mom lives in Alabama, and he flies back and forth to take care of her. And he's not working 80 hours a week now, I suspect, or a month, right? Because, and I wonder how that would work since it's in both states. Because I know that he is his mom's caretaker, and I'm sure it averages at least 80 hours a month. But I'm not sure if he'll be able to prove that. I need to talk to him about that. Anyway, Richard says politicians will say anything to get elected and reelected. Yes. Okay. So you guys know I like a USSenate.gov. I like a .gov site. I tend to find out that they are more reliable, and they try and be less biased in general, in my opinion. Okay, so I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Holly introduces legislation to send rebate checks to working Americans. Today, U.S. Senate, this was Monday, July 28th, so this is almost a month old now, and obviously still no movement, but it's being picked up in the news articles again. So today, U.S. Senator Josh Hawley introduced the American Worker Rebate Act legislation that would send rebate checks to working Americans following the historic revenue accrued through President Trump's tariff policy. Americans deserve a tax rebate after 4 years of Biden's policies that have devastated families' savings and livelihoods. Like President Trump proposed, my legislation would allow hardworking Americans to benefit from the wealth that Trump's tariffs are returning to this country, Senator Hawley said. Senator Hawley announced this legislation last week after President Trump voiced support for this policy. He said I think the quote was he was floating the idea. So I don't know if floating and supporting, like, I was floating going to the beach today, but does that really mean that I'm going to put on my swimsuit, get in my car, find the parking, get on down there? I don't know. I'm probably just going to stay in my jammies all day. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to go see a movie with my mom. We're going to go see Freakier Friday. And that's because I work at the movie theater and we can do that for free. So it's a good option for us. Okay. But anyway, so I'm not sure if floating an idea and voicing support are necessarily the same for this policy when he discussed record-breaking tariff revenue. The United States has record monthly tariff revenue, which nearly reached $30 billion in June. Several projections suggest the United States could see over $150 billion in tariff revenue in 2025 alone. The American Rebate Act would provide a tariff rebate check this year to American workers and families with similar parameters to the direct payments passed by Congress in 2020. Ensure the amount of the rebate is at least $600 per adult and dependent child. Allow for larger credit per person if tariff revenue exceeds current projections for 25. Read the full bill text here. God, how long is it? Okay, let's see here. Oh, it's only 14 pages. So you guys, this is the actual bill. And I love that. Oh, yeah, because you need to make $580 or more a month. Let's see. Is that? Um, my job is now paying $18.59 an hour. So 580, which is 80 hours of federal minimum wage divided by 18.59, 31.19 hours. And but volunteering wouldn't count for that. Right, a rebate check we will never see. Will retired people get a rebate? Okay, let's look. Joel, 600. That's it. It's an insult. Just kidding. It's not a lot. And let me stop right here. I know Joel is taking care of his finances, has his money in a high yield savings account, as do I. And I'm going to just show you really quickly. I used to earn a penny in interest from Wells Fargo every month, which is nothing. It's been just a little bit over a year, excuse me, since I started investing, holding my money in a high yield savings account. I do mine in Robinhood, and my lifetime interest paid is over $609. Can you guys see that? Yes, I think so. $609 in lifetime interest. So for just over a year, I've been able to give myself a $609 rebate. Also, you guys, I was talking about that app Fetch. Let me know if you need a referral link, because you can turn in any receipt for it. Gas receipts. You don't have to like log what you're doing. You don't have to add items, but like any receipt, you take a photo and they give you 25 points. And sometimes there's promotions. And I just earned my first $50 CVS voucher through them. So that's money back in my pocket. I'm always trying to, you know me, guys. I'm always trying to figure out ways to put money back in my pocket. And when I learn about those, I share them with you. Okay. So the bill. This should say if seniors would qualify. I'm going to take a sip of coffee, and or that can be something that gets revised, because oftentimes this goes back and forth. All right, another sip of coffee. Because guys, I didn't fall asleep till 5 a.m. Okay. To amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to provide rebates to individuals using tariff proceeds. In the Senate of the United States, Mr. Hawley introduced the following bill, which was read twice and referred to the Committee on blank. A bill to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to provide rebates to individuals using tariff proceeds. 1. Be it enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America, Congress assembled. Section 1, short title, Statement of Policy, short title. This act may be cited as the American Rebate Worker Act of 2025. Statement of Policy. It is the policy of the United States to use revenue raised from tariffs applied on foreign imports to provide relief for working people. We'll put a pin in that because that's what we're looking for, through immediate tax rebates. Section 2, tariff rebates for individuals. In general, Subchapter B of Chapter 65 of Subtitle F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 is amended by inserting after Section 6428B the following new section. Section 428C, tariff rebates for individuals. In general, amount of rebate. In the case of an eligible individual, there shall be allowed as a credit against the tax imposed by a subtitle A for the first taxable year beginning in 2025, an amount equal to the sum of A, the applicable amount, or in the case of eligible individuals filing a joint return, 200% of the applicable amount, plus B, an amount equal to the product of the applicable amount multiplied by the number of qualifying children, within the meaning of Section 24C of the taxpayer. Applicable amount. In general, For purposes of paragraph 1, the applicable amount shall be equal to the greater of 600 or an amount rounded to the nearest dollar equal to the quotient of the amount of qualifying tariff proceeds received during such taxable year, divided by the total number of eligible individuals and qualifying children, as so defined, of such individuals for such taxable year. Qualifying tariff proceeds. In general, for purposes of this subsection, the term qualifying tariff proceeds means the revenues received in the general fund of the Treasury, which are attributable to duties, including any supplemental duties imposed after January 20th, 2025. Projection of proceeds. For purposes of this application of subsection F, in determining the amount described in paragraph 2, the Secretary may use projections and forecast for annual tariff revenue based on a receipt to date in each taxable year. All right. You guys that are not new to the channel, we're only on page 3 of this thing, though, so let me know if you want me to keep running it all. But sometimes when I put my finger down like this, it means I need to remind myself to say something. Hi, Bella. Good morning. And what I need to remind myself to say is that when we did the California rebate checks, the California stimulus checks here in the state of California where I live, they were using the projections, right? They projected that they were going to have X number of dollars. I want to say that we got that money in 2021, but it was based off the 2020 tax year. Or maybe we got it in 2020, but no, I think we got it in 2021 for the 2020 tax year. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. But either way, so we used predictions based on the tax revenue from 2019 because we were still in the middle of tax year 2020. And it takes them a long time to reconcile it. But what happened in California in 2020 is like there was like a mass exodus, especially of like wealthy people, even people like Graham Stephan, like who has a YouTube channel and he shares how much money he makes. He left California because our state income tax is really high. And people during the pandemic were just basically like, California is too expensive. It's too dirty. It's too gross. We're going to go somewhere where the cost of living is more affordable. And they left. So what happened is they gave us those stimulus checks here in the state of California. And then when they actually had the budget numbers, so they were like, oh, it's cool. Like we have a surplus in our budget that we can give everybody this $600. But then when the final numbers came out, it's like California budget's short like $3 billion. So guess who did not actually have a surplus to be giving to the residents of California? California. So I just like to, again, is like, and think about like the jobs reports. There's so many times where the numbers get released and then the number is revised, not in the direction that we want it to go. So I'm just, again, skeptical, right? That this is going to happen. I would love it if it did, although Richard says 600 is an insult and Infinity says 600 is meh. I can help pay for a new oxygen sensor and other small mechanical stuff in my old but reliable 2003 Infinity G35 coupe. Should be more, however. Yeah. And Infinity, and also good to see you in here. $600 won't be much if inflation goes up due to tariffs. Yeah. And I'm already seeing it, right? I am already seeing it. Everything seems more expensive. All right, back to the bill. Also, I can't stop. Oh no, we got a little time. Okay. So we were down here. Oh yeah, we were down here to the line 23, treatment of credit. The credit allowed by subsection A shall be treated as allowed by subpart C of part 4 of subchapter A of chapter 1. Sometimes I think it helps to have 2 windows open so that we can go back and reference these. Limitation based on adjusted gross income. The amount of the credit allowed by subsection A, determined without regard to this subsection, and subsection E shall be reduced, but not below zero, by 5% of so much of the taxpayer's adjusted gross income as exceeds 1. 150,000 in the case of a joint refund. 2. 112,500 in the case of head of household, and 3. 75,000 in the case of a taxpayer not described in paragraph 1 or 2. So that would be somebody like me who's single. So $75,000. That is not a lot of money, but that is adjusted gross income. So your adjusted gross income is going to be your amount. It's going to be after the standard deduction. For someone like me, it's going to be after my medical expenses, after my 401k contributions. So that is your adjusted gross income. It's after any, tax deductions that you have, that kind of thing. So it's not your gross paycheck, which is good. Okay. Line 12, eligible individual. For purpose of this section, the term eligible individual means any individual other than 1, any non-resident alien individual, and 2, any individual with respect to whom a deduction under section 151 is allowable to another taxpayer for a taxable year beginning in the calendar year in which the individual's taxable year begins, and an estate or trust. Coordination with advance refunds of credit. Okay. So I don't know what section 151 is, but it looks like, so there was some question with some of the rebates in the past. If you had it's not a lien, a garnishment. I'm not sure if that's in relationship to garnishes, but it looks like it could be. And again, if you're just popping in midway, this is not happening for sure. It is just a proposal at this point in time. And this apparently has been proposed since July 28th. So obviously it's, got proposed a while ago and no movement has been happening. Coordination with advance refunds of credit. In general, the amount of credit, which would, but for this paragraph, be allowable under the section shall be reduced but not below zero by the aggregate refunds and credits made or allowed to the taxpayer under subsection F. Any failure to so reduce the credit shall be treated as arising out of a mathematical or clerical error and assessed according to section 6213B1. Joint returns. In the case of a refund or credit made or allowed under subsection F with respect to a joint return, half of such refund or credit, it shall be treated as having been made or allowed to each individual filing such return. Advance refunds and credits. In general, subject to paragraph 5, each individual who was an eligible individual for such individual's first taxable year beginning in 2024 shall be treated as having made a payment against the tax imposed by Chapter 1 for such taxable year in an amount equal to the advanced refund amount for such taxable year. 2. Advance refund amount. For purposes of paragraph 1, the advance refund amount is the amount that would have been allowed as a credit under this section for such taxable year if this section, other than subsection E, and this subsection had applied to such taxable year. Timing and manner of payments. Timing. The Secretary shall, subject to the provisions of this title, refund or credit any overpayment attributable to this section as rapidly as possible. No refund shall be made under this subsection after December 31st, 2026. So at least we would have this by next year at the latest. Delivery of payments. Notwithstanding any other provision of the law, the Secretary may certify and disburse refunds payable under this section electronically to any account to which the payee authorized on or after January 1st, 2023, the delivery of a refund of taxes under this title of a federal payment, as defined as Section 3332 of Title 31, United States Code. Waiver of certain rules. Notwithstanding Section 3325 of Title 31, United States Code, Any other provision of law with this respect to any payment of a refund under this subsection, a disbursing official in the executive branch of the United States government may modify payment information received from an officer or employee described in section 3325A1B of such title for purpose of facilitating the accurate and efficient delivery of such payment. Except in cases of fraud or reckless neglect, no liability under sections 3325, 3527, 3528, or 3529 of Title 31 United States Code shall be imposed with respect to payments made under this paragraph. So it looks like if you don't get your check, they wouldn't be liable. That's what I'm seeing to say there. No interest. No interest shall be allowed on any overpayment attributed to this section. Alternate taxable year. In the case of an individual who at the time of any determination made pursuant to paragraph 3 has not filed a tax return for the year described in paragraph 1, the Secretary may A. apply such paragraph by substituting 23 for 24, or B, if the individual has not filed a tax return for such individual's first taxable year beginning in 2023, use information with respect to such individual for calendar year 2024 provided in Form SSA 1099 Social Security Benefit Statement or Form RRB 1099 Social Security Equivalent Benefit Statement. Now, that appears to me that that's saying that if you are a Social Security benefit recipient and you didn't file your taxes because you don't have to, like this would apply to my mom, that they could use this Social Security benefit form to give you a payment. But I'm not sure because it still said workers. So we're still looking for that language. Notice to taxpayer, not later than 15 days after the date on which the Secretary distributed any payment to an eligible taxpayer pursuant to this subsection. Notice shall be sent by mail to such taxpayer's last known address. Such notice shall indicate the method by which such payment was made, the amount of the payment, and a phone number for the appropriate point of contact at the Internal Revenue Service to report any failure to receive such payment. All right, all those EDD calling services like Claimer, get ready to offer your services for this number. I'm half joking. I don't think you should ever spend money to call these government agencies. Yeah, all right, I'm going to look at your comments and see what we've got here. Okay, Richard says, I retired after 43 years and I may not get a rebate check. Meanwhile, Elon Musk, who's worth roughly $380 billion is going to get a rebate check because he's still working. Yes, 600. No, he won't because his income threshold is way too high, right? It's an insult. Steve says my Social Security income is $20K. A refund of $600 is 3% of my income. And that's not bad, right? That kind of covers inflation. So yeah, Richard's is 19,964. And then, 14,964. Yeah, and I want to say that that's kind of close to what my mom's is. It is real tough. And just, Richard, I just admire you for stretching your dollars and making it work on that budget. So I wish that you had more wiggle room in your budget, but I'm glad to see you making it on that limited income. It's really, it's admirable. I hope to have really low cost in retirement. And I know that some of your costs are low by necessity. Okay. Identification number requirement. In general, no credit shall be allowed under subsection A to an eligible individual who does not include on their return of tax for the taxable year such individual's valid identification number. In the case of a joint return, the valid identification number of such individual's spouse. And C, in the case of any qualifying child taken into account under subsection A2, the valid identification number of such qualifying child, valid identification number. In general, for purposes of paragraph 1, the term valid identification number means a social security number, as such term is defined in section 24H7. Adoption taxpayer identification number for purposes of paragraph 1C. In the case of a qualifying child who is adopted or placed for adoption, the term valid identification number shall include the adoption taxpayer identification number of such child. Special rule for members of the armed forces, paragraph 1B, shall not apply in the case where at least one spouse was a member of the armed forces of the United States at any time during the taxable year, and at least one spouse satisfies paragraph 1A. Mathematical or clerical error authority. Any omission of a correct, valid identification number required under this subsection shall be treated as a mathematical or clerical error for purposes of applying section 6213G2 to such omission. Regulations. The security shall prescribe such regulations or other guidance as may be necessary to carry out the purposes of this section. Okay, hold on. We're gonna start skimming because I just remembered. It's just gonna be easier to Google if people receiving Social Security only would qualify for the American Rebate Worker Act $600. So give me 2 seconds. So this section is about administrative amendments. Coordination with credit allowed against the United States. No credit shall be allowed. Definitions and special rules. Possession of the United States includes the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Mirror code tax system. Treatment of payments. For purpose, I'm going to read that real quick. For purposes of section 1324 of Title 31, United States Code, the payments under this subsection shall be treated in the same manner as a refund due from a credit provision referred to in subsection B2 of such section. Any credit or refund allowed or made to any individual by reason of section 6428C of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, as added by this section or reason of subsection, shall not be subject to reduction or offset. So does that mean it would not? Okay, I'm going to read this slowly. I'm going to start up here. By reason of section 6428C of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, as added by this section, or by reason of subsection of this section shall not be subject to the reduction or offset pursuant to section 3716 or 3720A of Title 31 of United States Code. Shall not be subject to reduction or offset pursuant to subsection D, E, or F of section 6402 of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, or 3, reduced or offset by other assessed federal taxes that would otherwise be subject to levy or collection. So does that mean that you would get this even if you had a wage garnishment? Public awareness campaign. The Secretary of the Treasury shall conduct a public awareness campaign in coordination with the Commissioner of Social Security and the heads of other relevant federal agencies to provide information regarding the availability of the credit and rebate allowed under Section 6428C of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986, as added by this section, including information with respect to individuals who may not have filed a tax return for the taxable year of 2023 or 2024. And I know for some in the past, they were telling the seniors to go ahead and file like a late tax return. I don't, even if they didn't legally have to in order to get that money. So I'm not sure if that's what this is saying. Okay. Confronting amendments. Paragraph 2 of Section 1324B of Title 31 United States Code is amended by inserting 6428C after 6428B. The table of sections for subchapter B of Chapter 65 of Subtitle F of the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 is amended by inserting after the item relating to Section 6428B the following. Section 6428C, Tariff Rebates for Individuals. Okay. So that is the bill as it currently stands. I'll close that real quick. Okay. I hope you read on Yahoo News that the COLA is going to be 2.6 or 2.7 starting in January. I hope it's more than that. That's what I've heard as well. That is the number that I've heard as well. My mom's not very thrilled about that number either. So, yeah. Super, super frustrating. Okay. Okay. We're going to Google now. The American Rebate Worker Act. We'll see. All right. Oops. Google. Would people making Social Security qualify for? Let's see. All right, this is sorry, I'm trying to scroll. Let me know if you guys see one that you want me to click. Okay, this is the AI overview, which is not always correct. The American Worker Rebate Act, if enacted, proposes to distribute rebates primarily on income, not specifically on whether someone receives Social Security benefits. Here's how it breaks down. It's based on your AGI. Therefore, someone receiving Social Security benefits could potentially qualify if their overall income, including Social Security benefits and any other income sources, falls within the specified AGI thresholds. However, Social Security benefits alone do not automatically qualify someone for the rebate. Eligibility depends on total income, which we get that. But what we don't... Okay, August 6th, the Palm Beach Post. I'm going to share this. What is the American... What is sad. What is the American Worker Rebate Act of 2025? Holly's bill, called the American Worker Rebate Act of 2025, would provide a minimum of $600 credit per adult and dependent child, or $2,400 for a family of 4. The benefit would be reduced by 5% for joint filers with an adjusted gross income above $150,000, or single filers earning more than $75,000. According to an analysis from Budget Lab at Yale released July 28th, Trump's tariffs could cost U.S. households an average of $2,400 in 2025 through higher prices passed on from companies paying higher tariff taxes. The Treasury Department said on July 25th that the U.S. government posted a $27 billion surplus in June, following a $316 billion deficit in May. Customs duties totaled approximately $27 billion for the month, up from $23 billion in May and 301% higher than in June. On an annual basis, tariff collections have totaled $113 billion, or 86% more than a year ago. The bill would allow for a larger rebate if the tariff revenue exceeded projections. So that's really good too. Trump floated the idea of using part of the government revenue being generated by the new tariffs and returning it to taxpayers of a certain income level in the form of a check. The rebate idea would be similar to stimulus checks sent during the pandemic. A rebate is a partial refund of the purchase price that a consumer paid upon meeting certain conditions, more like a discount that is refunded after the purchase versus a discount that is applied at the point of sale. A stimulus check, on the other hand, is a direct payment to encourage spending and stimulating the economy by putting money directly in the consumer's hands. In February, Trump said he would consider the plan to pay out $5,000 stimulus checks to taxpayers in the form of a Doge dividend during a summit in Miami. He explained it as using part of the 20% of savings identified by Musk's Department of Government Efficiency and giving it back to taxpayers. However, he has not shared any further specifics or details about the possible Doge dividend or its certainty since then. While speculation about a fourth stimulus check of $2,000 has surfaced on social media and unverified website, there has been no official confirmation of any additional economic relief package in 2025 from Congress or the IRS to support this claim. Any news should be taken with caution as it could be misinformation or attempted fraud. Okay. Hi, Prince Ellie. How are you? I'm so glad to see everybody in here. Let me put back up the headline instead of this thing of shoes. Okay. Yeah, $600 won't even pay for much due to inflation. In fact, it'll cover less by the time we get it. That's absolutely true, unfortunately. Absolutely true. Let's see here. I mean, it's interesting because, like, obviously, I'm not going to turn it down if they give it to me. I will use it. I will probably just put it in a high yield savings account and let it grow interest. Lucy and Charlie Brown, football equals politics. Yeah. So I would probably just put it in a high yield savings account. I would save it for a rainy day. Luckily, my credit card bills are all caught up, so I'm not needing money there. I do have some car repairs that I need to do. And in the interest of being like truthful with you guys about my finances right now, I've opened another credit card. It's the second credit card I've opened this year. This is probably the first time I've opened any credit cards since 2020. I got an Amex Platinum. I told myself I was going to travel. I think I need to get rid of that card. I think I need to realize that I'm not getting the value out of that card. I don't know. We'll see after this trip if I think I got my value out of it. Also, there's talk that annual fee is going up, and I don't want to pay that. But I'm doing the American Airlines credit card. I'm trying to earn more points to do travel. I recently did a Capital One credit card, but I have some expenses coming up since I'm going on the trip, and I still need to fix my car for the oil pan. It's time to get my hair done. So I might as well open up another credit card that has a sign-up bonus, which is hopefully going to get me basically like a free, really nice flight across the ocean to do some travel, because I'm kind of at an age where I'm really wanting to travel. My calf is currently trying to Charlie horse. Like I feel like it's harder for me to go up steps. I'm 48, but that's almost 50 and I'm heavy. I don't know, guys. I don't know. My health is not as good as it was in my 30s. It's not as good as it was in my early 40s. So I want to make sure I get all my travel done. So that $600, I would probably put it in savings, use it for car repairs. But of course, we're going to first put those car repairs on a credit card that's earning points, then pay the balance off full, and then, use the rest for travel. Okay. Richard says, dentists are the worst. Did you use a low cost dentist? If you get that 600, you'll put it towards your dentist bill. Do you have low cost dentist in your area, and or this might sound weird, student dentist? And I love living in California. I love that we have the beach and the mountains, and you could go to the snow and the mountains in the same day. I love the weather. There's a lot of things I love about California, but healthcare is not one of them. And that's probably in all of the United States. My best friend, recently spent some time in the hospital They have insurance. The bill before insurance was $45,000. $45,000. Like that would wipe me out. I wouldn't have enough to cover that. But because they have insurance, it was only 150. But like what a racket, Like it's just a little bit crazy. But with dentist, I dated a guy. What about at a school? So, this is a true story. My first time out of the country, except to Tijuana. You didn't used to need a passport to go to Tijuana, which is in Mexico, and then come right back. And I think I went there once with like my old roommate. Her name was Erica, and her boyfriend Jim, who works for the same company that I do. They're not together anymore. But anyway, we all went to Tijuana together, so I'm not counting that. But the first time I ever left the country was to go to India, right? And I never would have picked that. I never would have picked that as my first international travel. But the guy I was dating at the time, he needed braces really bad. His teeth were very messed up, and he had a lot of cavities because he didn't go to the dentist regularly. They didn't have good health insurance when he was younger. And I know a lot of people go to Mexico for their dental work, but he did not. He went to India and he stayed there for 6 months. So his dad passed away and he got some money from that. He went to India. He lived there for 6 months. He got all his dental work done. And it was cheaper, including the flight, including the places he stayed, including eating out for most of his meals, including all the traveling and sightseeing that he did, and including flying me round trip to India and taking me everywhere and paying for that whole trip. It was cheaper to get his dental work done in India, all the flights, everything, cheaper to get his dental work and live in India for 6 months, while he was taking care of all of that than it would have been to get it done here in the States. Yeah. So, I mean, that's crazy. And I really feel you on the dental stuff. And it's tricky too, because a lot of times that's not covered. Like my mom needed dentures. Luckily, the VA covered it, but it almost didn't. So yeah, Steve says, I figure the tariffs will cost me $300 this year. I bought all 2 years of major items before the tariffs. I should be good. That is awesome. I love that. Steve, you are really a good example. I wish Cindy was in here. Maybe she isn't. She just hasn't commented yet. But you guys are really good examples of making it work. And I love that. And planning ahead, right? I don't have a lot of storage space. My mom would like us to buy more things. But again, I'm doing silly things. Let me see if I can get you guys my Fetch link. I'm not affiliated with them. It's just, I have a referral code. And so what you do is you earn points on Fetch. Am I logged on? What's going on? I'm not logged on. Hi there. No, what? I already have it. I've installed this. Come on. How do I log on? Get the app, search. So I am doing this app called Fetch. Get $3. No, I've already signed up. How do I log in? Okay, let's see if I can find it on my phone and do it that way. Anyway, I earned a $50 gift card. So I'm going to pair that with like CVS Extra Bucks. And I am going to, I got a $50 gift card. And I haven't even been using this app that long, which is cool. How do I do refer a friend? Okay. I'm going to do my, and the cool thing about it is like a lot of things you have to like take pictures. You have to know what you're going to buy before you go into the school or the store. With this, you don't. Any receipt will get you points. It can be to the gas station. I have an annual pass to Disneyland. I parked at Disneyland. I snapped a picture of my parking at Disneyland, 25 points. So it's pretty easy to get points. And then I'm gonna use those points at CVS to buy toilet paper. I'm gonna buy the toilet paper when they give you the extra bucks back. So it's normally like $30 in PG&E products or household products or certain products. So you buy $30 in product, you get $10 extra bucks back. And I'm just gonna do that. Like, that'll at least get me like $30 worth of toilet paper twice with the extra bucks. Oh, and then I'll have $10 left over. So yeah, fetch reward referral code. It's going to be 3FURG9. So I try and sign up for programs like that where I'm going to like save myself money, and I think it's supposed to like fetch you rewards. So, yeah. And there's a lot of programs where you can earn gift cards, but this is one of the fastest. So, yeah. Anyway, it's exciting to get $50 worth of product for free. So it's an app that I'm using that I really like. So I'm just trying to share that with you guys. I think I get some points if you guys use my referral code. Okay, Steve says, oh, this is right, and I love this. You buy from the Amish and garage sale, so fetch will not work very good for me. No, it wouldn't. But I'm guessing you're not getting the toilet paper from there. So things like toilet paper, paper towels. Now sometimes you can hand make laundry soap, dish soap, that kind of thing. But you guys, we're gonna end this on a rant. It's gonna be a medical rant. Okay, so Richard says that their dental school is a victim of the budget cuts. He says they don't have a smartphone. I'm still using a flip phone. You know what? That's okay. I fully support that. You know, people are too into their phones anyway. They can't put them down. That could be why I'm having hand problems. My mom's hands hurt. That could be part of her problem. So I get that. And honestly, like, you're probably mental health wise, honestly, better without a phone, right? They're annoying a little bit. Okay. The medical rant that I have is this, and I don't know if this is specific to the state of California or not, but I just think this is so terrible. Like, so, so, so terrible. The thing that I think is terrible is when you go to the doctor here in California, a lot of times you have to pay a fee to park. And it is not like $2. It's not $5. It is like $15 to park to go to your doctor's appointment. If that's not effed up, I don't know what is. Like, seriously, shame on the parking companies. Shame on the medical facilities for allowing the parking companies to operate on their parking. Like, my friend, now actually at Kaiser, it was free. Kaiser, it was free to park there. And when I see my regular doctor, it's free to park there. But you know where you have to pay to park? I went to the podiatrist, had to pay to park. I went to go get an annual girly exam. I had to park. Where else did I just go that I had to pay to park? And I was so annoyed. I went to a hand specialty therapist, $15 to park. When I go to I'm having surgery soon on my hand. Like, I don't know if you can, like, literally that finger won't close. It'll close if I close it, but it doesn't close on its own. And then same with my thumb. And sometimes if it does close, it gets stuck. It's called trigger finger. Sometimes my whole pad of my hand. Anyway, whatever. When I go to the surgery, that I had 2 cortisone shots. Each time I go, parking $15, and you have to pay them cash. So I don't usually have cash on me, but $15 cash for parking when you're going to some doctor's appointments. And I think that when I go have surgery, I'm going to have to pay $15 just to park. Like, I just think, like, I'm scared to have surgery. Like, I don't really, it's not exactly like, ooh, fun. It's not like I'm going to a concert and I just want to park close. It's not like I'm going to the Dodger game and I want to, I need to pay for parking, right? which also I think is a racket because concerts and sporting games are expensive enough on their own. But like I get that a little bit more, the parking there. At least it's for something fun. Like it's literally a medical procedure. I'm not there for funsies, you know? Like, and medical care is so expensive. So a lot of times, even with health insurance, I'm paying a $15 copay, and now I also have to pay $15 for parking. Shame on you. Shame on you, hospitals and parking structures. It's so terrible, right? Am I right? Okay, Steve says, and then I have to head out today because my mom and I are gonna go see movies. Steve says, Amish sells toilet paper seconds. Some rolls are missing perforations near the end of the roll for over 50% off. It's amazing what they find and sell. And I love that. And my mom, so the reason why I like CVS is because like a lot of times you can do extreme couponing. Like you really can. A lot of times you can stretch those extra bucks. A lot of times they'll do like, what did I just have? I had $10 off of a purchase of 30. So you can also do that. So that makes your $30 purchase $20. Then if you're doing one of the things where it's like spend 30, get $10 extra bucks, then it's really only like spending 10. You can really roll your CVS dollars if you're careful into a lot more items. So it feels like you're getting it for free. But my mom did the extreme couponing for a long time. She would buy the things that were on sale for coupons and then she would resell them at the swap meet. I don't think you're supposed to do that, but lots of people do. So she would buy the things and resell them, and we would go together. That would be our day. We would go out shopping and scanning and seeing what was a bargain. She said that toothbrushes always sold really well. And she would basically get the items for free. And sometimes it would only like she would have like cartfuls. I remember one of my coworkers, there used to be this grocery store underneath the first theater I worked at. And we would go there. And my friend, he goes, Shelly. Yeah, his cart was full. He goes, your mom only gave me $1. I was like, oh, I know, that's why we're here. Like it was so he was like, what? He's like, but Shelly, your mom, she only gave me $1 and the cart. And I was like, I know, Garrick. I was like, I know, it's full. It's gonna be okay. Anyway, I'm gonna go. My mom and I are gonna watch a movie today. Should we see really quickly what the top 10 movies were? I think we should, since numbers weekend box gross. Okay, let's look because I'm not sure what our wait, isn't it August 15th? No. Yes, it is. Come on. Is it going? It's going, but slow. All right, so we're going to do this and then we'll head out today. Is it? It's not gonna. There we go. Okay. Weapons was still the number one movie this week with 25 million. It's down 43%. Freakier Friday is the number 2 movie, then Nobody 2, then The Fantastic Four, then Bad Guys 2, then Superman, The Naked Gun, Jurassic World, F1 the movie. It's tied with something. Why is that? That's way lower. The number 9 movie is Together, and the number 10 movie is Sketch. But I'm confused because I don't know why Shin Godzilla is listed here. But it has a higher gross than Together, but it's not listed as number 9. So I don't know. We'll figure that out some other day. All right, guys, let me know in the comments what you guys would do if you guys got the $600 American Worker Rebate check. Let me know in the comments how you would spend that or save it. All right, thanks so much for watching Shelly's Millions. I'll see you next Sunday at 11 a.m.